Hey everyone, and welcome back. This video is part of a series to introduce my basescatter tool that you can download on Fab or my Gumroad page. Links are in the description below. You can use the basescatter tools for making your environments in Unreal Engine. And in this video we are going to talk about the WallScatter. I'll show you how to set it up and how to use it in your scenes. So, if you're ready to speed up your environment workflow, grab yourself a beer and let's jump straight into Unreal Engine. Let's dive in. You can get this tool from Fab or from my Gumroad page. Download it or add it to your own project. And before we start, we have to enable some plugins in the engine to get it to work. I made a demo level with a text board to show you which plugin you need for these tools. So go to plugins and type in PCG and enable the standard PCG and the geometry script interop. You see that I have my plugins already enabled, but if you enabled them for the first time, then you have to restart the engine. And after the restart we can use the WallScatter. So first we are opening a new level to work in. You can create a new level. I have mine level already set. When opening the level we can start with making a landscape and a lighting setup. I have the ultra dynamic sky in my level, but you can also use the default lighting of Unreal as well. Let's go to the basescatter folder in your content browser and search for the WallScatter blueprint. Drag that into your level. First we see a spline with a mesh. I'm zooming in a bit to see it better. It's a brick wall without a material. I can position the spline with the brick wall. And I can make the spline bigger by dragging the point forward. The same as the spline path, you can change the position of the middle points. This will give it a bending shape. An important note is that you can't change the spline points in height. That will mess up the brick wall. Always keep it straight and move the points in X and Y axis. Don't use the Z axis for this tool. If we go to the settings of the blueprint, I'm showing you how it works and what it does. On top we have some checkboxes, starting with Create Wall and Project to Landscape. When we enable this, the wall would be attached to the landscape. Then we have Create Brick Wall that will set the bricks on and off. By default, you have a brick mesh. And you can change the material of that mesh. You can change this default brick by inserting another brick or multiple bricks. I've downloaded a couple of bricks from Fab for free to use. Let's get these in our data layer. Close the data layer, and you can see that it is filled with the new bricks. Go to the details and change the height of the wall. That's really high. I'm lower it down a bit. 100 is good for now. I'm changing the light because I can't see what I'm doing in the shadow. That is much better. So now we have a super clean brick wall. Let's explain the next settings. You can change the brick distance and you can change the row distance as well. You can adjust the offset of the bricks from the start of the spline as well for the end of the spline. Let's enable the project to landscape, and I'm going to sculpt the landscape a bit. When I'm sculpting, you can see that the bricks are adapting to the height of the landscape. And when you change the position of the blueprint, it's transforming to the height of the landscape. And you can make the points longer and it will keep changing the height of the wall. That is why you don't have to move the points in Z-axis, otherwise the bricks will mess up in the wall, and if you disable the projecting to landscape, it will make a straight wall and you can place it yourself on the landscape. I'm keeping it enabled for now and go to the other settings. You have the possibility to transform your bricks. You can change the rotation and scaling of the bricks. This will make it weird, but could be your idea. You are getting abstract formations when I change the scaling of the bricks. I'm keeping my bricks by default like before. You can also change the offset of the bricks so that the bricks look more straightened out. And then we have some settings that can make your wall a bit messier and older looking. If I change the noise, these bricks are getting more random placed in depth. And when I change the broke top settings, it will make the top of the wall look like it's broken. It also places random bricks next to the wall like they were falling off. If you don't want that, you can disable this setting in the top. Let's create more noise and use the decay strength to randomly hide bricks in your wall. This will also create holes in your wall to make it look older and more decayed. You can see this better when I disable the brick wall. Now we only have the concrete wall without material. If we scroll down into our settings, we can change the material for this wall. I'm dragging in a material, I've downloaded it from Fab that we can use for the concrete wall. The mesh that I use can be changed by your own mesh, but it will need transforming in height and scale. Be careful when changing this mesh, because it can be hard to change this to a perfect wall. The concrete wall is made for a default basis to project your brick wall too. There are enough settings to make it in your own way or ideas. I'm keeping it by default and go to our last settings. I'm positioning my wall and make a little curve into the wall. This looks very good. If we go to the basescatter folder, we can grab the BP_effector and drag that into our level and place it eye on the wall. Hide the mesh and you can make holes into your wall. Also, it's easy to make a duplicate and use this as well in your wall. If you change the mesh input of the effector, it will change the shape that cuts out into your wall, like a door or a window of that kind. And for our last feature of the brick wall, you can enable create debris. This is for making debris around your wall. By default is a plane. So I go to the data layer of the debris and open this up. I've downloaded a Megascans asset from Fab that I can use as debris for my wall. Drag that into the slot and we have debris around our wall. There are a couple of settings to change this debris to your liking by scaling it or make more or less debris around the wall. I'm creating another hole in the wall with the effector, like some large block slammed through the wall. These are the settings of the WallScatter, but you have two more features that you can use on your wall or just as an individual tool: the Create Wall section and Create Wall feature. Let's start with the wall section. Click on the plus icon to create a new section. By default, it's creating a mesh on the spline that you can use to combine with your brick wall. You can project this to the landscape as well and change its settings in height, position, rotation and interval on the same spline as the brick wall. And change the mesh itself by dragging your own mesh into the mesh slot and change the material of the mesh. You also have the use of multiple meshes by filling the data layer, and it works on the same spline as the brick wall, so we can change the position of the spline and all the sections will adapt to the adjustments that you are making. Next is the wall feature. By clicking the plus icon, you create a new feature that involves a decal system on your wall. By default, it's creating a lot of decals, but you can adjust this by changing the settings. You can also project it to the landscape to be equal with the brick wall and sections that you choose. But first we are looking at the decal itself. Let's go to the basescatter folder and find the decals folder and open up the BP_wall decal. You can insert your decal into the slot. Now go to the materials folder and you will find the master decal. Make an instance of the master and drag the instance into the slot of your decal blueprint. You will see that the wall is filled with the decal we just inserted. Open up the decal material and now you can fill in your own decal textures. I've downloaded some decals. Let's find the textures of a certain decal and place the right textures into the decal material. Saving the material and closing all windows. And take a closer look at the wall. We now have placed the decals on our brick wall and can change the settings by position, rotation and interval. And if we make the spline longer or change it in position by transforming the spline points, the decals adapt to the new adjustments we just created. And if you don't need a wall, but just a mesh or multiple meshes scattered along a spline, then you can only use the wall section. By disabling the Create Wall section, you can use the wall section standalone on the spline, making a row of concrete poles. Or an industrial fence. And even a self-curved line with trees. And that is how you use the WallScatter. For other questions on this tool, you can visit my Discord. This tool can be a quick and easy way in scatter a wall or a row of objects for your own environment. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment below letting me know how you'd use the WallScatter in your own workflow. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep shaping those worlds.